By the third kick, it didn't sound like a door anymore. It sounded like a warning shot. The frame shuddered, the hinges screamed, and the next thing anyone heard was a sound that could have passed for a cannon blast. The front door didn't break. It detonated, sending splinters of oak flying through the pale morning light. And just like that, three men in cheap tactical vests stormed into a house that didn't belong to them, shouting orders like wannabe SWAT officers in a suburban movie no one asked for. But here's the twist. The man inside wasn't just anyone. He was Jake Carter, a man who didn't scare easy. And next to him stood Diesel, a 200-pound Pitbull who didn't negotiate. Now let's rewind. It had started like any other perfect suburban morning. Birds chirping, sprinklers hissing, the smell of coffee slipping out of kitchen windows. Jake was in his garage, tinkering with his tools, enjoying his peace, when it happened. Three heavy thuds. Not a knock, a threat. He frowned, wiped his hands, and glanced at Diesel, who'd already lifted his head, tail stiff, ears locked forward. Through the peephole, Jake saw them. Three middle-aged men in black vests labeled HOA Security. Letters so crooked it looked like a kid had glued them on. One had mirrored sunglasses and a gray buzz cut that screamed retired from nothing important. The other two looked like his interns from a mall cop convention. Jake sighed. Oh, great, the HOA cowboys again. See, for months these guys had been pestering him, insisting he was part of their homeowners association. But Jake's house had been standing since the 70s, long before the HOA existed. He'd told them in person, in writing, and once over a barbecue that ended with him banned from the block's Facebook page. But some people can't function without control. The one with the sunglasses, clearly their self-appointed chief, tapped the door again. Mr. Carter, we're conducting a compliance inspection. Your fence violates HOA Color Code Section 3. Jake tilted his head, smirking. You guys know this isn't your territory, right? My fence, my color, my life. The man puffed his chest. Sir, refusing inspection may result in escalation. Jake blinked. What are you going to do? Revoke my grass privileges? That's when it hit him. The air. Different. He could feel it tighten. They weren't bluffing this time. Their fake badges gleamed like they actually meant something. So Jake smiled, said, "You have a good day," and shut the door. Click. Diesel stood like a statue, tail rigid, eyes burning holes through the wood. Then it came. Boom. The door jumped. Boom. A hinge snapped. Boom. The entire frame gave way. The men stormed in, shouting fake legalese like, "Compliance inspection in progress." Yeah, sure. Because breaking into someone's home before breakfast definitely screams community outreach. Jake didn't move. He stood in the center of the living room, sunlight cutting across his shoulders. Then came the growl. It didn't come from Diesel's throat. It came from the floorboards, a low, rolling vibration that made the air tremble. The leader froze mid-step. His fake authority vanished in an instant. Because that growl, it wasn't a warning. It was a countdown. And then Diesel moved. 200 pounds of muscle and fury exploded forward. The first man barely got out a whoa before he was flat on his back, staring up at a pit bull carved from pure vengeance. The second guy panicked, tripped backward, and crashed into the shattered door. The third one bolted. Smartest move of his life, just not fast enough. Diesel was already airborne, a black and white blur of controlled chaos. He hit the man square in the back, flattening him into the lawn with a thud that made Jake wince in secondhand embarrassment. Guess they don't teach this in HOA training, he muttered. The leader scrambled up, voice cracking. Call him off! For God's sake! Call him off! Jake leaned against what used to be his doorframe, calm as Sunday morning. Oh, now you want to talk? Across the street, blinds twitched. Phones came out. Mrs. Gus Langley whispered, Told him not to mess with him. Diesel stood tall, inches from the man's trembling face, a low growl rolling like thunder under his breath. Jake whistled. Easy, Diesel. The dog didn't attack again. He didn't need to. His presence was the message. One of the men bolted down the street, fake radio bouncing along the pavement. Another scrambled after him. The leader hesitated just long enough to realize his khakis had changed color, then ran too. When they were gone, Jake chuckled. Guess they won't be doing a follow-up inspection. Diesel barked once, short and proud, like a gladiator accepting applause. Jake crouched, scratched behind his ears. Good boy, that's how we handle paperwork around here. The neighborhood was silent, except for a dozen whispered play-by-plays behind curtains. The kind of gossip that would outlive the next election. Jake grabbed his mug, poured fresh coffee, and stepped onto the porch. The air smelled like dust, grass, and victory. He looked at the broken door and smiled. Funny, he said softly. They kicked it down trying to prove they had power. All they proved was that they never had any. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed, faint, late, and useless. Diesel leaned against his leg, calm now, tail wagging lazily. Jake sipped his coffee. You know what, buddy? Owning a home isn't about fences or paint. It's about standing your ground when someone tries to take what's yours. He glanced down the quiet street, grinning. Next time they come back, they better bring animal control. Diesel woofed in agreement. This was Silent Divide Tales, where the grass isn't greener, it's just covered in the wreckage of someone's bad decision.